Aloha Audleyites, it's time for yet another Audley Analyzes video, and I've got to admit, the player I'm looking at today is not someone I actually know anything about. I'm talking about Svspector. He first started showing up in Halo during the AGL era, in Halo 4. His best placing is 5th and 6th alongside the Rooster Teeth Invitational. I say I don't know anything about it. I looked him up on eSportspedia. That's the extent of my knowledge about this player coming into this video. He finished 5th, 6th at the Rooster Teeth Invitational in 2014 alongside Mikwin, Sargoth, and Tragic. I don't know anything about his playstyle, his ability. All I know is he's gotten himself a handful of top 8 finishes and he's looking to prove himself in Halo 5. So I'm going to be looking at his gameplay on Fathom Flag. And although my last couple of videos were focused on specific aspects of a player's play, this video is going to go back to just talking about individual decision making from Svspector. So without further ado, let's just see who the hell Svspector is. Off the start, we see him going for a flank. It's a good way to get behind players that may be contesting camo, and he's just pushing straight into the flag. I kind of like this play, but with Shooter just chilling in the back, interesting. So he's been spotted, he can't do a sneak cap. Ends up challenging. Probably could have stayed alive a little longer, but he would have been cleaned up regardless once those players spawn. It's a really good aggressive play, though, because when you push straight for the flag like that, if your teammates win the battle up front, you get an easy grab, you get a flag right off the start, and you put them on the heels. Here we see him taking the shortcut jump to top mid. Changes his mind. Good play to reverse that. I don't like what he's doing right here. He's got a player already on the flag, and granted, Snipe Down is camo, so he might not want to run the flag. But if you've got a player already in your team's flag, you don't want to push in with him and get backed up into this corner where you can't really do anything. If you move out here instead, you can get better sight lines for where players may be spawning. Instead, now he's trapped in the flag area. He doesn't have as many routes to go. Like, he's either got forward or back into that corner where he's just going to get trapped. So I don't really like this play. However, Clutch is challenging him, gets the shots, and he does end up grabbing the flag since Snipe Down had camo, which it's good to let your camo guy keep his camo advantage and just be stealthy. He didn't get the flag very far, though. Looks like Stellar is continuing that flag run, and just good shots by Lethal there with the battle rifle to make sure that flag run got stopped. Here he gets a good flank through the window. Not great shots there, but he gets both kills, and that's what matters. Sees his flag getting grabbed, but he knows his team's in position to stop it, so he's immediately looking to cut off anyone that may be coming to help the flag. So that's a good play by him there. Here he sees Lethal, he pokes out and challenges. Now he's no shields, so he's at a massive disadvantage. He needs to either make a really aggressive play toward Lethal with his AR, or just sit back and let Lethal expose himself. Here we see him make Lethal expose himself. Kind of went with a middle ground there, but Lethal gets cleaned up by Arcanum and Stellar from the side. Immediately gets the flag returned. Knows there's a player around, so he's playing it slow. I like that he's crouching around the door, but he does get spotted by the grenade. Got to keep in mind, grenades do have hit markers in this game, so if you get hit by a grenade, your opponents know where you are. Good use of the silo here to keep Lethal from getting a silo on him. Good thruster to get away, and now really dodgy moves by Svspector there, and he played that really well to come out alive. He's pushing into the flag. He's pretty sure Lethal's going to spawn silo, and Lethal did. Risky flag route. He's going a route without much exposure to himself there. I'm going to go back and fast forward to after he grabbed the flag. Like, when he killed Lethal and pushed to this corner, he knew Lethal was probably going to spawn Silo. But he should also know that Lethal's up at this point, and since he has one teammate dead, actually, they don't have numbers right now, so it's 3-on-3 based off what I see on my screen, but the scoreboard should 3-on-2. I'm going to slow play this so you can see. He sees Lethal on the porch, and he sees Spartan not looking at him, bottom mid. And since he knows Lethal's on the porch, instead of going the wide route into Treehouse, I like that he hugs this wall. It's going to break the sightline sooner and for longer, except for this small window down here where his feet can be shot. It forces Lethal to chase instead of taking a shortcut to cut him off. And he ends up getting the flag really far. And gets picked up by a teammate of his. Not sure about this slow run that's going on from Snipe Down. Good shots to pop everyone. Tries to get up top mid, misses the jump again. Looks like he's having trouble with that jump. I'm going to point out, when you're trying to do the jump off of this to get to top mid, you have to crouch before you do it. Crouch onto right here, jump, clamber up, and you're up to top mid. It looks like he's struggling with that, so it may be that he just hasn't practiced this at all. Anyway, we're going to go back to playing. Lethal dies. He's all over grenades, but looks like the flag reset and all of that. So Lethal's play there stopped the flag cap. Sees his teammate shooting top middle, so he looks to help.
Flag taken.
I like that he jumped out with his AR there, just assuming a player is there, whether he is or not, he's going to get first shot. Granted, there wasn't a player there, so his first shot was at the floor instead of actually at a player. But he's immediately recovered, switched to his pistol, and he's in a gunfight with Clutch. I don't like that he's actually making this challenge, because as you can see right now, he's on fairly high ground. If there's any other player at any point looking at him, he's exposed, and Clutch is not in a position. So Svspector has no way to get any help from anyone on his team right now, and he's challenging this 1v1, or what he assumes to be a 1v1, but it's not actually a 1v1 because you can see Spartan down here. So I don't like this play. He should thrust to his left and use bottom mid, or the ramp on top middle to cut the sightline from Spartan to at least return it to being a 1v1, which it won't stay 1v1 for long because there's another player in the treehouse that can push up behind Clutch or bait and switch with him. But Svspector needs to thrust to his left to stay alive here. And he doesn't. He gets absolutely melted and he dies.
Railgun on the field. Red carrier spotted.
Seems both flags are out right now. Svspector's pushing in to try to get the recovery. Jumps onto Lethal's grenade.
Red flag taken. Blue flag returned. Blue flag reset. Blue carrier spotted.
Here you see shooter spawn in front of him. He looks for the ground pound. It's not the best of ground pounds, and when you're in that corner, you're a sitting duck if there's anyone looking for you. It's just a very weak position on the map to be, which granted you have to go in there when that's your only option. I like that he's taking the high ground here. He seems to be really aggressive with his ground pounds, and I don't like that. It seems like he's just trying to be flashy for flashy's sake.
Red flag taken.
Yeah, he has a railgun. I'm not sure what Clutch was doing with a railgun in the opponent's base. That's just a batshit decision. There, he's actually got the jump this time. He's up top middle with the railgun, looking to make sure his flag carrier's safe, trying to find targets. I like that he stayed low until Spartan popped out up there. He sees lethal on his radar beneath him, and he's looking for it. Arcanum gets the kill for him. Sees clutch, jumps out. His team is in full control right now, and he's got railgun up high. He's just a big threat on the map in general right now. Stellar should back up and bait switch. I like this play with the Storm Rifle. Storm Rifle's just dominant in close range. You see him get a kill and then almost a second kill. He was a little inaccurate with it that cost him there.
Red flag returned. Red flag reset.
Runs into a grenade there. Needs to slow play a little bit. Yet again, he doesn't seem to have a good feel for ground pound, and he's just doing it whenever he thinks he's up higher than the player when the battle starts. He's not relying on his gun at all when he's not in a good position to get a good ground pound angle. So I'm not liking that.
Red carrier spotted. Red carrier spotted. Red carrier spotted.
See the flag going in. He was in a good position there, but there wasn't really a good chance for him to stop that flag. Yet another just random ground pound out of Svspector. I don't know if he's just trying to get a feel for the ability in this game, if he's just fucking around. But, use your guns, people. Like, there's a time and a place for ground pound, especially on Empire strongholds. But just because you have high ground over a player doesn't mean you're in a good position to ground pound them. I like that he broke the sightline with lethal there, probably thinking Arcanum was going to help him. But he had no help. He tried to let a teammate finish that kill, but he didn't actually have help there. It's kind of unfortunate for him. He made a decent play.
Railgun is up.
This team has cleaned up all of the red players here, so there should be a flag return. If there wasn't already, I didn't see it on the screen.
Red carrier spotted. Red team scored. Enemy team scored.
Good use of the window to spot Spartan coming up here. But I don't like that he's challenging with the BR, because with the weapons he has and this combat range, Spartan could actually win the fight with the AR. And he still had plenty of railgun shots. He didn't look for any spawn kills before grabbing this flag, so it's a somewhat overzealous flag grab.
Blue carrier spotted.
Now he's eating grenades. Manages to dodge them, so that's good. But he should be looking to use this railgun to spawn kill and make sure the path is clear for his flag carrier.
Blue carrier spotted.
Didn't have an idea that he had a teammate going for that flag, so he was going for it himself. And if you have a railgun and there are any players on your team nearby, just tell them, you get the flag, I'm going to kill. Like, granted, it's fine that he's trying to be an objective player and make sure his team gets the cap, but he's got the railgun in his hands. That's an instant kill weapon. He should be looking for kills while someone else that's spawning in the area finishes the cap. There is no one around to try to recover that, so it's not like he's in any danger of losing that cap. So he should just be looking for a position or to get into a position to start killing these players that are now on his screen. Instead, he was running toward the flag, left his back exposed, and that's precious seconds that he's not getting into position to kill.
Distraction.
I do like that he switches to his BR pistol. on one-shots or weak players. It's a good heads-up play. He should be looking at right now. He should absolutely have that railgun pointed at Silo, looking for those spawners. Like his teammate's already running flag. His job right now is to put pressure on people spawning so they can't look to stop the flag. Instead, he's swapped to his BR and he's running to the flag guy. There's absolutely no reason to be here. There's no one chasing the flag carrier. There's no one even in the base. The only person on the map right now is this player who has just spawned Silo, which he knows they're going to spawn Silo because he just had a player in the base grabbing flag, and he's blocking this area. So, absolutely, the only thing he should be looking to do right now, have the railgun pointed at Silo to kill that player. And that player's already gotten behind the Silo now, and the rest of his team is spawning in the base. So now he should probably switch to railgun and watch the door for players. That way he can at least see behind Silo if there's anybody else spawning there. Or if they're coming out of the base, he has a sight line to immediately pop them with the railgun if they come out. Instead, Shooter comes from treehouse where he had been crouching,
Red flag
cleans them
returned.
both up.
Red flag reset. 2 minutes left.
Railgun is up.
Double kill.
Good play here. Gets the triple. Good sense on where clutch is to go for the over. And this is much better play right here. Risky drop. Up until he dropped from the high ground, that was a good play because he should have known. I'm actually going to go back since he got incinerated. Gotta find him again. Oh, right, Svspector. Alright. He saw Clutch go past him. So he knows there's one player behind him. Gets that kill and sees a player under his radar, or under him on radar. He should know that if he drops, it's gonna be a 1-on-2. So dropping at all is a risky play. And he does it, praying he gets the kill, and he doesn't. So now he's stranded. Even if Lethal didn't make this solo play, Svspector is by himself versus two guys. So this is not a wise decision. And he just gets melted and incinerated. Gonna have to find him on player cam again once he spawns. I like that he is grabbing the light rifle whenever he can. Light rifle's really strong.
1 minute.
Good grenades to make sure he doesn't get followed. Not great shots. Gets the job done though. His shot is kind of all over the place. He looks like he's aiming pretty heavily with his right thumbstick and not with his strafe. Interesting grenades, put it politely.
30 seconds.
It's grenaded out. Spartan's got a good opportunity to run the flag. I'm actually going to pause it right here because you see Shooter making the same mistakes the Spectre was making a minute ago. Spartan was already in the base going for a flag. So Shooter should be looking to slay. Spartan's already there grabbing the flag. There's nobody else in the base. But Shooter pushes into this corner here. I'm not focused on Svspector at the moment. I'm just talking about Shooter and Spartan. Shooter has made a mistake by walking into this corner. And what's going to happen is now the other players have time to collapse on this flag route because Shooter was not slowing them down, putting pressure on them and trying to slay them. They both get grenaded. They both get cleaned up. That flag cap is dead. They got collapsed on. Shooter pushed too far, got rid of all of his good sight lines, and gave blue team plenty of time to come from every angle. Go back to Svspector now.
Blue flag returned. Blue flag reset.
Gets the Spartan charge into AR. I like that he uses that window to get high ground vision, where he still has the opportunity to drop down.
Red flag taken.
Really good shots from him and his teammate there. I like that he's going up high with this. He's taking a sneaky route.
Blue flag taken. Red carrier spotted.
He sees the flag carrier. He had time to get a shot there. I'm not sure why he didn't like shoot at the flag carrier. It's kind of slow reaction time.
Blue flag taken. Red carrier.
He's run the flag into an awkward spot. I'm not going to say it's a bad spot here, though, because it means if any red players go for the recov, they're going to be really exposed from anyone spawning on blue team. Whether they spawn silo or not, because it's just an open area. And no one got to go for the recov, so he gets the touch again.
Red carrier spotted.
And we've got ourselves a flag standoff. He
2
sees
minutes left.
good job watching the front of the base there, so anyone sprinting into the base would have to deal with him. Probably calls out that player and leaves him for Arcanum. Doesn't matter because they get the recov, and he puts the flag in, and that's game.
Game over. Blue team
So,
wins.
overall, Svspector made some really smart plays, and then he made some plays that just didn't make sense to me. Overall, there's definitely room for improvement from him, but he's also showing some promise with his decision making in flashes. If he can make those decisions more consistently, he'll definitely rise along with some of the other newcomers like Spartan and Frosty that have shown up on the scene. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned something. At least, if nothing else, you learned what Svspector can do. Because if you're like me and had no idea who he was, you had no idea what he could do, and now we at least have a little better idea. If you already knew who he was, maybe you learned a little bit about his playstyle, maybe you learned from some of the mistakes he made of what not to do in your own gameplay. With that, that's going to close out this Audley Analyzes video, so until next time, aloha!